Hey guys, today I wanted to run through a pretty quick but pretty thorough as well fishing guide for gold. This is not going to be the most efficient use of your time necessarily, but it is probably the best gold return for amount of effort you're putting in. This is almost an AFK farm. You do have to kind of idly sit by and fish, but that doesn't take too much effort. I normally run this while watching Netflix or YouTube videos, things of that nature. It's really just listening for a quick bobber sound effect, and then you're getting a pretty good chunk of gold. But quick overview. First steps, you got to look through the auction house and find out which of the 4 Shadowlands fish are going to be your best option to kind of grind at that moment in time. Do note that auction house prices vary a lot. A lot of raid reset days, which the day that I'm filming this is a raid reset day, will have higher price points, but every server also differs based on population and that thing, so you want to kind of get a good understanding of your own server's economy to fully maximize your returns on this, but that's really in-depth. We can maybe touch on that in a later video or go over other economics in WoW, but once you check your auction house and you get your prices, you want to make sure you have Shadowlands fishing learned. Doesn't matter what level you are, but the higher level fishing you are, the better returns you're going to see, because you will get less gray items in your fishing loot. You also want to make sure you have the right gear. There's a fishing pole and some bait that will help your rates as well. Once that's set, we'll travel to your fishing hole based off what fish you have. I'll show you those later. Once you're there, it's pretty much easy money, and stick around for the end. I'll have some bonus little tips and tricks to make this that much more efficient. But without further ado, let's step on into step 1, checking the auction house. So, I'm here in Orgrimmar. I'm Horde, so you want to check your auction house and just basically check the prices of all 4 fish. And those fish will be listed on the screen right now. So let's go ahead and look up the silver gill. So those are going for about $16.75. Then we'll look at spine fin, about 14, and iridescent. Did I do that? Did I spell that wrong? Where? Oh, there we go. 1990. So this is right now is looking like it's the best. And then we got the pocked bonefish. That's 33. So I've actually seen this happen a few times where the pocked bonefish is the most valuable. But quick little chat about supply and demand here. The pocked bonefish as well as the amberjack are used for the palatable feast. So those are the 2 fish you need for that one, and then the gluttonous hedonism, whatever, is spinefin piranha and silver gill pike. These are the 2 that I typically will go for, just because they're for the the better feast. But this is still a viable feast for a lot of people, especially if you're doing maybe like mid dungeon keys. So it might still be worth farming these ones, I guess. For demonstration purposes, we will be farming these today since it's the 33. Gold per fish. The only issue is they don't necessarily sell as quickly, so if you're looking for maybe a quicker return on your fishing, go with the spine fin and the silver gill pike. But that's basically how you decide which fish you want to farm. There are the 2 other fish, the lost soul, which is pretty much pennies. Nobody really, you get these from all 4 areas, so they're more common. And then the Elysian Thade, also you can't really control. Finding these, they're also in all 4 zones, so they're just a little bit more rare. They do go for a decent chunk of gold, but you don't want to focus on farming them. You'll get them kind of passively wherever you go. So I did list all the locations next to the fish of where you want to go. Since we got the pocked bonefish, we're going to want to head over to Maldraxxus. And I'll meet you guys over there and show you where I like to farm in Maldraxxus, and then I'll show you the other spots for the other fish as well. But first, we do actually have to stop back in Oribos so we can get the proper fishing gear ready. So I guess I'll see you there first. So once you're back in Oribos, you want to head over here to the Hall of Shapes. This top little section here, you will find the fishing trainer. Make sure you learn Shadowlands fishing, and then you will talk to the fishing vendor. First thing you're going to want to buy is some bait. We'll get the pocked bonefish bait, since that's the one we want to farm. Yeah, I'd also stock up on, a couple of every other one, just in case you ever need to farm those. And I wouldn't buy too many because you will passively catch bait while you fish, so don't necessarily buy too many different baits, or too many of the same bait, I should say. Nightcrawlers, you also want a couple of these. It'll help your fishing by 5, so basically will increase the chances of the actual fish and not just gray items. And you will want to buy this broken angler fishing pole. You're going to get another boost onto your fishing stat from that. And I don't have that on this character yet, so I'm actually going to buy that. And once you have the... where did it go? There it is. The fishing rod and your bait, you're going to go to your area. So I will now actually see you in Maldraxxus. So the spot that I like to go in Maldraxxus, and it's actually really one of the only spots that you can go, is down here. All the other green water tends to have a lot of hostile mobs. This one I've only really encountered like one hostile every like 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes. But you're going to want to come down here. You're basically looking to go into this little pool. And I will just plop myself up right here and fish. But I will want to equip this fishing rod. Oh. You're going to want to use your bait. You'll get this 30-minute buff, which increases the chance to catch the bonefish of this area. And you'll also want night crawlers right here. You'll want to apply that to your rod, so you'll get an additional buff. So you're going to have to, keep up with these while you fish. And you basically just toss that out. Oh, my bad, I should actually demonstrate this as well. I'll throw just everything else in my sound settings off besides basic sounds, and then I'll turn the master volume up. So now you can really hear the bobber going down. And this is actually that one mob that you'll see that'll be hostile. If you sit just right on here, you shouldn't really aggro it. And there's the noise, you just click that, boom. And then if he does bother you, this is one of the harder spots to fish. I have touch of death, I just kill him instantly. You shouldn't really have to worry too much. Aside from that, you won't see him spawn in for a little bit more. But yeah, you basically, once you get to your spot, you just keep fishing. It does help to have a macro made. I have one on my actual fishing character, but not here. The macro is... it's just /use fishing. It's pretty easy. You can get it to a button and then bind it. If you do click on the bobber too late, you will miss the actual fish, like the loot. So make sure that you're kind of keeping up with it. It's basically just an audio cue. You click and you reel it in. It's that simple. But I'm going to show you guys the other 3 spots, and then we'll get to the bonus tips. So I will see you next in Bastion. So once you get to Bastion, I would recommend going to Hero's Rest. Bastion is an easier continent, island, whatever you want to call it, to fish on. So there's a lot of uninhabited water area, or I should say uninhabited by hostile mobs. I hope I don't die. But the place that I like to go to is just over here. This nice pool of water. You will get, some hostile mobs in this place, but if you kind of come down here, you just toss out the rod. You will want to make sure that you have the silver gill pike bait active here. Doesn't matter with the nightcrawler, that would still be good. I'm not going to swap because I'm not going to swap this buff because I don't really plan on staying here to fish. Just wanted to show you the spot. Again, on the map, it's just here, west of Hero's Rest. And look at that. I just got the bait. Where'd it go? So see, now you get the bait. You don't really have to buy too much of it. But next up, I'll show you the Revendreth spot, which is probably my favorite spot to fish in, because the spinefin is a pretty valuable fish. And it's a Revendreth is kind of a harder spot to fish in, but this one spot is 100% secure. 0 mobs there to possibly attack, so I will see you guys there. So you want to fly to the old gate in Revendreth, and just kind of, once you get here, come down this way. You want to walk past these two guys. If you're cool like me, you can just one-tap them. You can be a little speed demon here and just walk off the edge and hopefully make it into the water. I don't want to demonstrate that because I die every time, but if you're good enough, you can do it. But this is the pool of water we're going to be looking at and fishing in. Again, 0 mobs here, which is why it's such a great spot. I tend to sit right up here on this little rock, and I just cast away. The only issue here is you do hear that a lot, so that will kind of be clogging, your sounds, but the sound of the bobber is still much louder than that. If you are, watching Netflix or Hulu or YouTube or something, the sound might kind of bother you, so if you want to find another spot, people do fish down here and down here, but there are mobs there, so I'd still prefer this one. I don't think that the elevator noise is too much of an issue. But the next spot we're going to be showing you is, or I'm going to be showing you, not we, this is a one-man job here, is in Ardenweald. And if you're a member of Night Fae, there will be a bonus spot, which is probably the best spot to fish for anything, period. It's pretty much comparable to the Revendreth, except it doesn't have the noise pollution. But again, that's only accessible to Night Fae. If you do have, a dedicated fishing character, and you want to make them Night Fae, I would definitely recommend that, but don't swap anything around just for the fishing farm. I don't think it's that good of a gold farm to really build an entire character around it, but if you do have a Night Fae, maybe you make them your fisher. But really, anywhere in Ardenweald, there's water is a good spot to go. I typically just go to the Night Fae spot since this is my covenant, but I'll show you, down here is a pretty good one. Nice and accessible too. Not too many hostile mobs in this area. And I fell. What is going on? So you'll be pretty safe here. Not too much going on. Again, you're just listening for the bobber. Boom. You get some fish. So that's really, all you have to do. I'm going to start going into the bonus tips, starting with that Ardenweald Night Fae spot. But yeah, I'd recommend at least, 30 minutes a session just to kind of maximize your bait. That would be 3 night crawlers as well. But, you can do this for hours on end, or just, 5 minutes maybe before a raid if you're waiting for your group. Fishing is just such an easy way to get a little bit of gold built up. Again, not the most efficient use of your time, but, if you like to multitask or just kind of watch Netflix or something while you're going, this is a great farm, and I wanted to kind of start with something simple and go pretty, in-depth on it. And I'll start going in-depth on some more advanced farms. Those are just going to be a much longer video. But yeah, this place, the Queen's Conservatory, I kind of didn't explain where I was going, but you unlock this pretty much at the end of the Night Fae campaign, or just kind of whenever you get the anima to unlock it. Great spot to fish. You don't get interrupted at all. No noises, nothing. And the iridescent, what are they called? The iridescent amberjack are a kind of a valuable fish. They aren't in the gluttonous feast, but they are in the surprisingly palatable feast. Somehow they still do hold pretty good value. But yeah, that's the Night Fae spot. The Next tip that I have is to have an alt character dedicated to just fishing, because let's say my monk was out questing, or I was just not around a fishing area, my inventory is getting clogged up, whatever. It's just nice to have a character you can just log into real quick, which I'm going to do right here, and you just start fishing. It saves you that quick 5 minutes of setup time or whatever. You're already good to go. You basically just load in. Any second now. And you cast. So I have him set up in my Revendreth spot. This is my hunter. I just chill here with him. I obviously do leave this spot with him every now and again, but I don't have to. Typically I'll just play on my monk, and then I'll do some more serious farms with my monk, and then I'll just have this guy here if I want to, AFK away for an hour or so. So that's, kind of tip number 1, and then part 2 to this is on your characters. I would recommend Katie's Stamp Whistle. You get this through the Lost Mail quest line. You can call your own personal mailbox, and I can then just send everything I got right over to my main character or my bank character, whoever you want, and boom. And then you log out. Right, well that about wraps it up. That's essentially everything you need to know for fishing in Shadowlands. You can make a good bit of gold off this. It's not too difficult. If you did make it to the end of the video, make sure to leave a like. Also make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'm going to be uploading more guides like these on some more in-depth topics. This was a pretty bare bones one. I'm going to hopefully cover my main gold farm next. Definitely worthwhile hitting that subscribe button. You'll get a pretty good guide coming up. It's going to be really thorough and in-depth though. There's a lot to go over, so I'll see you next time.